Good morning again to all of you. Before starting, I would like to go over some brief rules that we should be following during this session so that everything runs as efficient as possible. So please bear with me. The way we are going to work, the slide is in Portuguese. I will explain it in English so that our colleagues can follow all the conversation. So we have estimated that the first part of the session is going to take 1 hour or a little bit less, because there will be time for questions and answers in the end. So what we would ask of you is that during this session, since we already have so many people joining us, I believe 104 at this time, and we want to give you the best possible experience, we will ask you to keep your cameras off. So we didn't give you permission to turn them on. Only the speaker has the camera on. And also your microphones will be off during the presentation to avoid any undesired noises or interruptions. In the end of the session, you will be able to put your questions by raising your hands or using the chat. You can use the chat while the presentation is taking place. And we and our Swiss colleagues will try to answer them as best as possible. So when it's time, you will be asked to turn on your microphone and camera if you want to, and you can talk to us live. In the meantime, while we are having the presentations, we will have several Swiss and Portuguese EURES advisors in the chat, willing to answer your questions as well as possible. So feel free to use the chat during the presentations, share your questions, share your doubts. If the questions are going to be answered during the presentation, you will be informed about that. If not, someone will try to answer you. So this is how we are going to work. In the next 2 minutes, I would like to present you what EURES is, because it's because the EURES network exists that we are here today, and we are joining our Swiss colleagues to present to you this webinar. So EURES is a network, and in this network, European Employment Services cooperates with each other. And our aim, our big objective is to facilitate the free movement of workers within the European Union and the European Economic Area. This includes the 27 member states, Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Switzerland. We provide services both to job seekers and employment and employers, whether it's information, advice, support to recruitment. And in order to provide those services, we have a network of various advisors that are experts in mobility. There are around 35 EURES advisors in Portugal. They are spread all over the country, but all over Europe, we have more than EURES advisors that are ready to support you in your career move, if that's your choice. We also have a EURES portal, and there you can find on a daily basis more than 4 million job vacancies in all sorts of occupations. And there is also an online platform where we organize recruitment events. The platform is called European Job Days, as you can see there, and you have the links for the EURES portal and for the European Job Days platform. We are also available to chat on Fridays, and of course, on social media, where you can follow all the activities we planned for the near future. This is a very brief presentation. I thank you for being here again, and without further delay, I pass the floor to Paola. We also have Sergio joining us, but for now, I think Paola is starting. So I pass the floor to her to go over the agenda for today. The floor is yours. You can start also sharing your presentation, Paola.
So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here for this presentation. We will start our presentation with a promotional video about Switzerland.
to the streets and down to the shores. Let's get together, what are you waiting for? This is it, we're gonna celebrate. Late tonight, something we'll never regret. One more time, I wanna hear you say, I won't play by their rules anymore. If it's the last time, then we are living it up. This is our time. If it's the last time, then we are living it up. This is our time. There'll be no ransom, 'cause we're not giving it up. This is our time.
Voilà. So Portugal, it's a very nice country, but Switzerland is quite nice to live too. So you could see a little bit of our cities, and we don't only have nature, but also quite modern cities. And now I will give you some information about Switzerland. So there is 8.9 million people living in Switzerland. We have around 27% of non-Swiss citizens. Switzerland is a multilingual country. We have 4 national languages. So the most speak language is German, with 62% of people speaking German. Then we have French, 23%, Italian, 8%, and a very small part are speaking Romansh. Switzerland is a Christian country. So 59% of the population is either Catholic or Protestant. And we have a lot of, so 34% have no religion affiliation, and but the most are Christian in our country. Switzerland is a federalist state with power divided between the confederation, the cantons, and the communes. So we have 26 cantons and more than 2,000 communes. Confederation, cantons, and communes have different responsibilities. So, for example, at the national level, the confederation have responsibility about the relation with the outside world, with defense, the national road networks, and the nuclear energy. There is a Swiss parliament, the Federal Assembly, and also a national council and a council of state. And we have seven federal councillors. And this year, every year we have a new president between these 7 persons. And this year, the president of the Swiss Confederation is Mrs. Viola Amherd. And also the canton have their own parliament, government, and court, and also constitution. And they have also responsibilities, for example, for the education, the healthcare, the cultural affair, and police matters are also organized between the cantons. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult to understand because there is a lot, no, not a lot, but there is differences between the cantons, but this is normal in Switzerland. And also the communes have small responsibilities and also taxes. So we have taxes at the federal level, cantonal level, and at the commune. So it's very important, this federalism between these three powers. We have voting and electoral rights at 18. Since 2002, we have this free movement agreement between Switzerland and the European Union. This is very important because these agreements simplify living and working conditions for the European citizens in Switzerland. So we have right to family reunification. We also have a coordination of social security systems, and also very important for working in Switzerland, and the mutual recognition of qualification. But we will speak about this later in the presentation. Our labor market, so our biggest partner is the European Union. So you can see we export in the European Union about 50% of our goods, and we import 67% of goods from the European Union. Our main sector where we export are chemical and pharmaceutical products. Then we have machinery and electronics. And then in 2023, the third sector was watches. In Switzerland, we have over than 99% of registered business are small or medium companies. And the main sector is the tertiary sector, with 73% of people working in this sector, then secondary, and then a very small primary sector, less than 1% in 2023. But this primary sector is still important because they are responsible to keep our landscape beautiful, and also it's very important for our tourism. So it's a small sector, but very important for the image of the Switzerland. Something about our labor market. We have a low unemployment rate. So in March, we had 2.4% of unemployment. Youth unemployment in March was also quite low, 2.1%. As I said, we have more than, so it depends on the year, but between 27 and 28% of employees are of foreign origins. And also we have quite a lot of cross-border. So at the end of last year, we had more than 390,000 cross-border coming from France, Germany, Italy, and so on. And now I will leave the floor to Sergio to present you some information about the job vacancies in Switzerland.
So good morning to everyone. Thank you, Paula. I hope you're all doing well. Yes, so as you can see, we have some fields, some sectors where we are looking for workers, as in every country.
I'm sorry,
of course, of the
Sergio.
world. Yep.
We don't see the presentation right now. I don't know if Paula handed.
No,
the
we
sharing?
can see Sandra. Maybe
Yes?
it's your.
Oh,
yes,
sorry,
we can
sorry.
see them.
I'm sorry.
Sergio
personally
just
see-
turned off the camera, but that's okay if you prefer.
I'm off the camera. I see myself in.
We can see the slide saying job vacancies, healthcare sector. That's what we see.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But you don't see me.
No, but that's
No.
okay.
I don't know, because I see myself and the camera is off, is okay, but okay. What is important
problem.
is what on the slide. So
And
as
what
I
you say.
said, we will see here different sectors, and here we have the health care sector. Currently, we're looking for, I would say, a lot of people in that sector because in Europe, I guess there is a lack of doctors, and not only in Switzerland. So as we see, the doctors are generalists, so the primary care doctors and emergency doctors, psychiatrists, geriatricians, so for elderly people, nurses and carers. Then you go, if you go down with the qualification, you have nurses and carers for elderly. Of course, Switzerland is a country that is becoming older and older, but this is a tendency in Europe. Hospital nursing staff, home care nursing staff. So whether you are in the hospital or in the house, actually, so we need people. Then therapists, occupational therapists are the people that take care of disabled people to help them to perform daily tasks, and physiotherapists. So Paula, you can go on with the slide. Then what we actually have as a big sector in Switzerland is the chemical and pharmaceutical industry. So there is a pole, a place where we develop the pharmaceutical industry and chemicals, which is Basel in Switzerland. So it's top north and at the border with France and Germany. And as we can say, we need qualified medical and scientist experts, pharmacologists, immunologists, quality manager, chemical lab technicians, chemical engineer. So this is the first exporting sector, export sector. So with I would say if we calculate the amount of money that we get from outside, this is an export field. The big one is the chemicals and pharmaceutical industry. Now, we also need. Switzerland has in if you go to the details, actually, if we look at Geneva or Zurich, we have a lot of people working in banks, insurances, and in services. But we don't have to forget that Switzerland has an industry, and a very important industry. So you can see here that we are looking for every time, of course, when if you would like to come to Switzerland, at least you need a qualification, because we don't have very much actually soil industry. That means that we are not a country like Russia or African countries that they have, I don't know, lithium and I don't know, material in their soil. We exploit our brain, if you want. So the industrial sector, as you can see, electronics technicians, engineer, mechanical technicians. We have a lot of people working in this field. So mechanic is very important, and watch industry. So we have automation engineers and watchmaker specialists. So the industrial sector, the second actually sector, is quite important in Switzerland, because we see Switzerland maybe differently, but we need those kind of people to fill our needs of workers. So now you see the financial sector. You all have heard about Credit Suisse, which did not goes bankruptcy. Actually, it was absorbed by UBS. But for the moment, actually, the basic employment or positions in the banks are not to be filled. What we are looking in the financial sector is those three actually position or profiles: financial advisor with experience in emerging economies, commodities trading specialist and specialist in compliance. This is law, the regulation, risk management, and IT regulation. So um, um, there is a very specific need in the financial sector, and you can go on internet to exactly see what kind of profile you need to get into this area. Then, of course, in every country, the construction, the building area is very important, but with qualified people, bricklayers, electrician, joiners, carpenters, welders, civil engineers. But we have enough of people that are unqualified because, of course, in every country, there is a number of people that are not qualified for the area, but in Switzerland, we need them qualified. Um, so this is a very important sector in Switzerland too. Now, after COVID, we actually faced in every country, I suppose, is that, and not only in Europe, we faced an urgent need in the hotel, restaurant, and catering industry. So here, you know, Horeca means hotel, restaurant, and catering industry. So we need cooks, we need waiters, because yeah, the need is very high. If you go on internet, you might not see that because employers in that field actually I don't know, they quit, they give up, they gave up about trying to find people because they cannot find them because our unemployment rate is so low that we cannot at the public employment service provide them with employees. And there is another fact that people, if they're not motivated to go to work in that kind of area, so they're not going to hire people. So if you are qualified and motivated, and even not qualified but motivated, I think there is some opportunities for you. Um, okay, so Paula, would you like to take the stage again?
Yes.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Sergio, for this explanation. In Switzerland, we also have some profession where we have an excess of job seekers, and we have a tool, this checkup, that let you know in which profession we have an employment rate that is higher than 5%, because when if a profession have this 5% of unemployment rate, the company has the obligation to register the vacancy to the public employment service, and the job seekers in Switzerland have 5 days the priority to apply for this job. So there is a priority of national job seekers during these 5 days. And but it's also useful to you when you think, okay, I am, I don't know, I am an actor. It's good when I come to Switzerland and you go to the checkup and you see an actor, there is an obligation of publication. So that means that there is already more than 5% of unemployment. Maybe is not the right sector to find a job in Switzerland. So that can be also useful for people looking for a job in Switzerland. Now I will give you some information about the working conditions. So we have 4 weeks holidays per year. This is a minimum, so a legal minimum. There is companies that have 5 weeks, 6 weeks. It depends, but at least 4 weeks. Our working time for a full-time job is between 40 to 45 hours a week. We have a very flexible labor market. That means that you can be fired for almost no reason. It's not that we don't have labor market protection like in some countries from the European Union. So this is also important to know. We have maybe in comparison to other European countries, these full-time and part-time jobs. Part-time is not only 50%, but you can work 40%, 60%, 70%. So it's very flexible too in this way. And also we don't have a national minimum wage. We have collective employment agreements in different sectors, not all sector, but in a lot of sectors. So, for example, for construction, in some sector, you know, the minimum wage for this sector, but we don't have a minimum wage at national level. We have now some cantons that have this minimum wage, so Neuchâtel, Jura, Genève, and Tessin. So only 4, no, and also Basel-Land, Basel-Stadt, but we don't have any at the national level. How to apply or how to find a job in Switzerland? So very important is your network. Also, we have a lot of online job portals and also vacancies that are published on the company website, in newspaper too. But it is also very important to talk to friends and people that you know in Switzerland and tell them what sort of job you are looking for, and they can also help you in this way. Personal contacts can be very helpful too. So in internet, you have a lot of possibilities, but we present you our job room is the Public Employment Services website, where you can find a lot of vacancies in all the different cantons. So it's very interesting as a portal for your job search. In Switzerland, we also used to send spontaneous application is also a way. So you can send your application, but not just a mail, I'm looking at a job, so anonymous. But if you are really interested to work in a companies, when you send a cover letter and a curriculum vitae, it can be also useful because it indicates that you are highly motivated to integrate this company. So it's also a way to find a job in Switzerland. Some tips for the candidature dossier. We have a cover letter, a motivation letter. Is your opportunity to demonstrate your communication skill and express yourself, to present yourself in a way. It has to be short, so not more than one A4 page. And also it has to complete your curriculum vitae. So both are important. Then you have your curriculum vitae, your CV is the most important component of your application. It should not contain any gaps, and it has to be clearly and carefully presented. You see here an example. So the content, it has to be a title, so curriculum vitae, then your personal data. Photograph is not mandatory, but it's good to have one, but it's not an essential point. Then you have to explain your professional experience to date. So the last one first and then so on. Your education and trainings, also the last and then so on. Language skills are very important in Switzerland because we have these main 3 national languages. English is also important. So the more language you speak, the more opportunities you have on our labor market. Then you also have to explain your special know-how, like IT know-hows, or if you know a special program or a special know-how, it's also important. Then we have the personal interest or hobbies, then you can also write down. And at the end, we have the references. You don't have, and you don't need to write down the list of the references, but you have to prepare this list and you write down on demand. And if you are contact to an interview, then they will ask you the list and they will give the list separately, and then they can contact the people. Be very careful about formatting mistakes, spelling mistakes. It's very important that you maybe someone read your CV and your cover letter to be perfect. What is also important is the interview. If you are called for an interview, it's very important to get well prepared. On our website, we have a lot of brochure where you can find all the important information about applying for a job in Switzerland. So now we will speak about social insurance in Switzerland, and I will give the floor to Sergio.
Yes, thank you. Just to come back just for 1 sec about CVs, do not forget that the Europass CV is not used, is not very good seen, if you want to say, if I have to say diplomatically, the Europass, the model of the European CV, they don't use the European model. So now you have a lot of very nice websites that actually can create your CV in order to be very clear and very specific and not going into too much details, because this is very important, because your first step, the first contact you have with a company, unless you go through the network, is the CV and the cover letter. So this is very important. The CV is going to speak about you, about your past, and the cover letter speaks about you, about the future, what kind of relationship you would like to have with the company. So this is very important, to go on internet and to find the way to apply in Switzerland. But okay, coming back to social insurance system. So actually, we are not going into details because it's not the purpose, but just to let you know that in Switzerland, we have the retirement, the old age insurance, and then maybe Paola, before talking about this, maybe you can go to the next one, the next slide. Okay, here you see there is social and security deductions. So those are the example E here shows on the right the gross salary you could have, for example, 5,823 Swiss francs. And then you have all the deduction on the left that give you the net salary. So the salary that you receive on your bank account. So you can see that the drop is around 20, no, it's 80%, 18% from the gross salary to the netto salary. So on that left side, on the left side of the slide, you can see that it begins with the 523 francs, and then you have all the deductions. Those deductions are connected to old pension insurances, accident, unemployment insurance, then sickness. If you are sick, how your salary is going to be paid. And there is the another pillar. You have the old pension pillar, and then you have the second pillar, which is a a, a way to actually put money from the retirement to put money aside, which is your money, because we are coming back to the first the previous slide, to make you understand all the deductions, because all those deductions actually are connected to what you will get when you will be retired. So on the left, you see OA, gross salary, and then there is the 5.3%, 1.1%, etc., etc. And when you go down, actually, you see the netto salary, which is the same as to the right, of course. But then you have the minus monthly health insurance. And this is probably not the only system that is like that on Earth. Absolutely. I don't know how is the Portuguese system works, but we pay the health insurances, not the salary when you're sick. This is something else. When you work and you're sick, the salary is paid by the employer or etc. But it's paid by the employer through a certain way. Now here we're speaking about your private health insurances. And this private health insurance, you pay that aside the deductions, because the deductions in Switzerland do not cover the private health.
So we were
Thank you.
speaking about private insurance. So it's quite an important expense for the people living in Switzerland. So you have to take this in mind, because it's a very high amount of money for the families in Switzerland. And also, what is very expensive in Switzerland are the flat. So it's also something that you have to keep in mind, because it's a huge part of your budget, monthly budget.
So
Yes.
what I wanted to
Yes.
say is that so health insurance is to paid aside, and the amount of what you pay could be very high. So I'm not sure Switzerland actually, because the salaries are very high, and you can see that everywhere. I'm not sure we have the best, power of purchase actually. When you see the rank, maybe Norway or other people are better than us, but this is not the point. When you go on retirement, you have the first pillar, which is the old pension, the classical old pension. The second pillar is a pillar that is personal and is compulsory. So when you have a salary, they deduct this first and second pillar from your salary. You don't have the choice. You cannot choose. The first here pillar and the second pillar are compulsory. They will take it from your salary and they will put it on a bank account for you, but not the first pillar, because the first pillar is you take money, they take money from your salary and they give it to the person that are already at the old pension. The second pillar is your money actually. So this is very important. The third pillar, as we are in Switzerland, and in Switzerland money is very important, as you know, this is the personal savings, your personal savings. So in Switzerland, there is a huge gap between the period of working. When you work, the salary could be very nice and very high and everything, and life is beautiful. But when you get at the old pension, the gap, so the drop is very important. So people put money aside, so they save money. So we can go on, Paola. So you've seen the slide that is now coming. You have seen it. So just let you know that actually the drop from the gross salary to the net salary is around 18%, and then you have to pay the rent, the other exactly. So you have the bills to pay, and one of the bill is the monthly health insurance. So now, if we go to the next one, which is the health insurance, um, health insurance is a compulsory insurance that you pay aside, as I just said. So every person who is resident in Switzerland is required to have a health insurance. And it depends actually the amount of what you will pay monthly speaking. It depends on the region you are. So if you live in Zurich and you live in Geneva or you live in Neuchâtel or you live in Lugano, the amount of the health insurances primes, so the amount of money that you have to pay to be insured is going to be different because it depends on the areas you live in. So every family member, it's not maybe in some countries of Europe you have, if I don't know, the parents pay the health insurances, the kids, the children are also insured. This is not the case in Switzerland. You have to have an insurance for every member of the family, whether adult or child. Cross-border commuters can choose where they wish to take our health insurance. That means that you could be a Portuguese coming to France to live and going to Switzerland to work. So you are a commuter. In that situation, you can choose the health insurance, either the Swiss one or the French one. If you are in Italy, it's the same. You can choose actually the Italian or the Swiss. If you're in Germany, the same, the Germans or Swiss, and etc. etc. So this is very important to bear in mind that nothing is actually completely deducted on your gross salary. You have to pay the health insurance aside. So when you apply, when you go abroad, actually, of course, your concern is to get a job. But to get a job, it's quite tricky when you are a Swiss employer. To get you to hire you is quite tricky because actually when you're Portuguese, an employer Portuguese, you know the value of a Portuguese diploma. And if you're a Swiss, of course, you know the value of a Swiss diploma. So it's not easy for a Portuguese, for a Swiss employers to know if your diploma could fit their requirements. Of course, if you have the profile or the competencies, this can be seen on the CV. That's why the CV is very important because when you use a CV or a covering letter, actually you're not looking for a job. You're looking for an interview. That's why the CV and the cover letter are very important, and that's why networking is very important. That networking brings you to have this interview, which is the most important for you, is to get the interview. So now, when you go abroad, of course, you would like to know if your qualification is recognized or not. So we have here three websites, well, that are very important. Actually, when you have a master of a university or a bachelor, so actually if you have I don't know, a bachelor in economy of Lisbon, for example, they will, the Swiss employer will understand that you are an economist coming from Lisbon. So there is no big deal. But to have the recognition, you go through the website, the first one, swissuniversities.ch. If you are, if you don't have any academic diplomas, actually actually the website where you can have recognized or not your qualification is the sbfy.admin.ch. This is the recognition to exercise an occupation. So there is very important. Imagine if you are a cook, Portuguese cook, and you would like to recognize your diploma. Recognition means, am I at the same level of a Swiss cook that has a diploma? This is the meaning of recognition. And then continuing education and training, this is something that the employer will do for you. If you have, continuous education made in Portugal, in France, or in Greece, whatever, you have to explain what you did. Actually, competencies in Switzerland, apart from some very special, actually, profession where you need to be authorized to work. So I repeat, you have seven actually profession that are automatically recognized, but you have to get the authorization. The doctors, architects, nurses, etc. But if you are a cook, actually there is no direct recognition. So the employer will tell you, okay, you are a cook, you are a qualified cook, and I take you in my restaurant to be a qualified cook, and he will pay you the salary of a qualified cook. But to be sure that your diploma is the same at the same level of a Swiss one, you might go through the SBFY. This is not free of charge. Actually, you have to know that this going there, it will cost you something because I think it's not cheap. To my experience, I heard people saying that it's not cheap. So, okay, actually, what is important for you is to know that what is the important is to know how it works in Switzerland. Yeah. Paula says that we are a very liberal country. That means that, of course, you can get very soon, you can be hired very soon, but as well be unemployed very soon. So, and that's why I think it's a good way for it's good for the economy because we can hire very quickly, and of course we can not fire people but dismiss, so break the contract very easily. But actually we have a law, we have a working law that applies. So it's not like the jungle, of course it's not like the states. We have rules that are important and to be respected, of course. So but okay, that what to go abroad and to use your freedom of the freedom of oh, I missed the word now. The freedom to go abroad in Europe, the freedom of circulation. So you go from
Yeah, free movement of workers.
yeah,
That's how
exactly.
we call it.
Thank you. The free movement. This free movement applies to every country of the EU plus Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. So that means that if you are Portuguese, because you might be Moroccan in Portugal, or I don't know, Japanese in Portugal, this is not applying to you. So the bilateral agreements do not apply to people that are not from an EU country, nor or they are not from citizens of Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. This is very important because you might be Brazilian working in Lisbon and you say, okay, I'm going to Switzerland. This is not possible as free as a Portuguese can do that. If you're a Greek working in Lisbon, you can come to Switzerland because there is no permit restrictions. So
Okay.
yep.
So we are almost done with our presentation. On our website, arbeit.swiss, but I think work.swiss too. Yes, work.swiss. You can find a lot of information about living and working in Switzerland. Also, a lot of information about the permit when you come to Switzerland, because to work in Switzerland, you don't need a work permit, but a stay permit. So if you have a work contract less than 1 year, you will become permit for 1 year. So it called permit L. If you have a contract that is more than 1 year, you will receive a permit called permit B, and it is valid during 5 years. And then if you are cross-border, for example, from France to Switzerland, you will receive a permit G, and this is a cross-border permit. So you can find all this information on our website, and also all the information about how to apply in Switzerland, the recognition of diplomas, educational system in Switzerland. So you have a lot of information about Switzerland on our website. You also have information on the EURES portal when you are looking under Switzerland. So you also have a lot of information. We also have a brochure, Living and Working in Switzerland, with all the administrative steps you have to follow. Yeah, all the most important information about that you have to have before you move to Switzerland. And this is all. Thank you for your attention. And maybe you have some questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Paola, Sergio, for this presentation. It was very clear and detailed, and we can see there was a lot of questions during the presentation in the chat. So I also thank our colleagues from Switzerland, Andrea, Sambrina, and Gabriela, for helping us answer the questions in the chat. If Persina is not able, maybe we could ask Francisco to take the lead. Francisco Fernandes, you can turn on your mic and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. So thanks for the presentation, Susanna, Sergio, Paula, and Carmen. I got a very simple question because I'm a computer scientist, and I haven't seen computer science as a field where you do, get opportunities. Was that overlooked, or is there real no opportunities for computer scientists in Switzerland?
Do you speak a Swiss language or only English and Portuguese?
I do speak English, Portuguese, Spanish, and a little bit of German, but I'm not brave enough to try the German. So.
Okay.
You want me to reformulate the question?
So no, but I didn't understand your profession. You are?
I'm a computer scientist, software engineer. But indeed, I do have a PhD in artificial intelligence, but I'm not working with that nowadays.
Okay. No, I think you could try because, for example, software engineer are still a profession that we are looking for. Maybe it's good when you see on the vacancy that only English, the work language is English. I think you can try to apply. It's not always the case. So it's not because it's in IT that the work language is only English, but there is a lot of position where you can speak English, and if you don't speak German or French, it's okay. So, but I think it's very important that you read properly the vacancy, and when you see that English it's enough, then you can send your application. I think it's a sector where you could find something.
Yeah, thank you, sure.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning,
hear me?
Persina.
Yes. Hi,
Yes,
good morning.
we can hear you.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you very much for the presentation today. So basically, I do have a couple of questions. The first one is, yes, I was born in Portugal, therefore I hold the Portuguese passport. I've been living in the UK for a while. I do have a legal background. I did my universities and master degrees in the UK. I wanted to know, because I do not speak French, if there are any opportunities available in the legal sector and compliance in Switzerland.
Serge, tu veux répondre ou?
Yes, I was disconnected. I have problems with my connection. Can you
We
hear
can
me
hear you.
now? Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
it's perfect.
Yeah. Actually, it depends because the lawyers are have on if you work on an international if you studied international law, this could be possible actually because we have a lot of international companies. So if we consider Philip Morris, a lot of insurances, Nestle, yeah, Novartis, Roche. So I think it's possible only to for you to only having English or a language that we don't speak in Switzerland to get a job. As it's possible to be our I don't know, computer scientist, a data analyst working in Zurich only with English, because if you work, for example, for Google, they will not ask you to know a Swiss language actually. So it depends actually, because the compliance is very could be a very specific area. But I know people that are lawyers and they don't speak French and they work in companies, in international companies. So this has more to do with what you can bring to the company about their needs. Do they do international business? It's very difficult to be very precise to answer you yes or no. At the basic, actually, if you want to come to Switzerland to use your law knowledge, of course, it's going to be a big challenge, because in my opinion, you should go back to university and to have a refresh and to get some training on Swiss law. Otherwise, it's possible, but the networking in that area is very important. So I'm not sure I answered your question, but there are possibilities anyway.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. Actually, one of the things I was thinking about doing was actually to get the New York bar. So I was just in the hopes that this would increase my chances in Switzerland. But thank you very
Sorry, I
much.
didn't catch. Sorry, madam, I didn't catch what you said. You were considering to get.
The New York bar, so get qualified in America as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was just hopefully that would give me more chances in Switzerland. But then, yeah, I guess I will have to do some networking.
Yeah, this is important.
Thank you
Yes.
very much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay, thank you. We can listen to the next person. It's a new one. I think I'm pronouncing it badly. Sorry. You can put on your microphone and ask your question. New one. Is it like this? Darshana.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes. You can ask your
Okay,
question. Yes.
okay. Thank you so much for the presentation. So, I'm working as a cook in Malta. I'm
Yes.
from Sri Lanka.
Yes.
I need to move in Switzerland. So, how can I go to the job, and so I can go for a visit. Then after I can find job, and can I change my visa for a work permit?
Why are you moving to Switzerland?
So actually,
Do you
I
have
need to go.
a family here?
No, no one.
Okay. Because for third country citizen, it's more difficult to have you need a work permit in Switzerland. So it's not that easy like the EU citizens. So you cannot come just like that. And it's very difficult when it's sometimes third country citizen receive a work permit because we have for a vacancy, if we don't find anyone in Switzerland, anyone at the European level, then we can find something from the third country. But when you are a cook, it depends if you are a very specialized cook, but it could be difficult to find to receive this permit, and your the company has to ask if they can receive the permit for you. So it's not that easy to receive a work permit. So
Yes,
I don't know if you already
thank you,
plan to
Paola.
come.
Yeah,
be
just to
careful.
complement Paola, there one of your colleagues, Sabrina, put something on the chat to help you. Something about the requirements for employers to get third country nationals to Switzerland. Okay,
Okay. Thank you so
take
much,
good
ma'am.
notice of the things that Sabrina put on the chat. Yes, we move to Andrea, Margarida,
Andrea,
Fernandes.
and I will be attentive to the chat.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the presentation. I actually didn't have access to the chat all along. I don't know why. I cannot open it. But I just wanted to ask, for example, I'm fluent in English. I'm Portuguese. I'm fluent in a lot of languages, but I speak the minimum of French. I don't know Italian and German neither. I just wanted to know which will be the best canton if we wanted to go to Switzerland, for example, for people, or the best jobs for people who have fluent English, because I know it's difficult when you don't know the language of the country.
In which sector are you working?
I work usually marketing. I don't have like a course or something. I did the languages course here in Portugal. I work, for example, supermarkets and um this type of works, for example.
Okay, so maybe in tourism, could you work like receptionist or in a shop or something like that? Because
Yes.
maybe you have to focus on the most touristic cantons, like maybe valleys, Lucerne, Graubünden, where there is more touristic areas. Because for a work like in a shop, in a normal city, I think that if you only speak English, it's not enough. But maybe like in Zermatt or so, if you speak more languages and you don't speak German, could maybe okay. I don't know what you think about this, Sergio, but
Yeah, exactly.
I
So if
also,
you
I'm
are,
so sorry. I'm so sorry. I also speak the minimum of Italian and French, but like the basics, nothing more than the basics.
yeah.
mhm.
So exactly. So if you are in a very touristic area, just English would could be just enough. The problem is that even if you are in a touristic area, like I don't know, Gstaad. I went to Gstaad, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, and the staff of a restaurant do not speak German. But someone has to speak German because they are not only tourists. So and the the building, the hotel is in a German speaking area. So if we have the chance to get in a team where one or two persons just only speak English, it's okay. But this is going to be a challenge because you have to to bring a value, a more value than the other ones. So job is not impossible wherever you go in Europe because you're European. It's not impossible. The thing that is, it's very difficult because even if you come to Switzerland to look for jobs and you stay in a hotel, you will see that the cost of living is very high. So nothing is possible. And if you go to a city like Zurich or Geneva in a hotel, because you speak several languages, the hotel will ask you to speak the language of the region, the area. So French in Geneva and German in Zurich. This is quite sure. So the only way, the only actually judge is the market. So if you feel like, okay, I'm going to apply, you use the information we just displayed for you, and you just apply, and you will see if the employer will take you in the team. But
Yes,
yeah.
and maybe now in so hotel, restaurant, they are so looking for people that if you are very motivated and also if you can speak more than one language, maybe you can find something. But I think it's always very important to speak at least one of the national language to have more chances to find something.
David,
We have
you may
David already.
try to speak now. Yes,
You can
we
hear
can
me
hear
now?
you.
Okay,
Yes.
great. I have two questions. If it's fine, I think we'll be fast. Basically, the first one is how hard can it be for someone from outside? I mean, I'm from Portugal to rent a house or a room. After or before we get our job contract or something like that. How hard can it be to find a rent a place to stay in Switzerland?
Maybe you can put to both questions, David, and ask our colleagues to answer and move on.
Okay, the second one is more about because of my working area. I work more on the architectural area, but I'm not an architect. I just do the drawings for the architects and the engineers, the technical drawings. It's a building information and modeling. It's very specific and very recent. And here in Portugal, I'm now working as a freelancer. And I would like to know how hard or how could it, if it is possible for me to work as freelancer also in Switzerland or
Well,
in
the
this.
second one is very specific, David, but we will profit on the answer of about your first question about housing, and then the colleagues, if they have an idea of the second, they will help you.
I think
Paola,
for the
Sergio?
housing is very different. It depends on which area are you going. In Geneva, it's very, very difficult. You cannot find a flat. It's very expensive and very difficult to find something. And if you come in valleys, you can find quite easily a flat with a normal price. So it really depends on the region where you are going to go. The cities is very expensive and very difficult to find a flat. We really have a problem with this. So Geneva, Zurich, it's very well known to be difficult to find a flat with a normal price. So it really depends on which region are you going to work.
Okay, but the thing is that I saw that I can't really rent an apartment when I go on the first months to Switzerland. I have to rent a temporary just room that are more cheaper, but they have less requirements for the renting, you know?
Yes, because for rent an apartment you need a permit. So if you are just 1 month, I don't think that you will find something that will rent you a flat if you don't have a residence permit. This is the problem.
Okay.
Sorry, I was listening to David's question, and what would it be the price range for an apartment in Switzerland? Like medium, not medium, average price.
It also depends on the region because at Geneva, Zurich, you have maybe 3.5 room for I don't know. It also depends the in which area from the city, but I think so. In Zurich, you have
Like between like 2,000 and 3,000 Swiss francs, maybe.
Yes, maybe in Zurich is between 2,000 and 3,000, and in Canton Valleys it's maybe between 1,000 and 2,000. So,
Okay.
but if you go online, you will see on the market, you can see a little bit the prices, and it's quite expensive.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And then do not forget that to get an apartment, your employer, first you get the job, because there is not the other way around, of course. So first you get a job, and when you get a job, if your employer wants you to come to work, of course, he has to understand that you need a place to live, of course.
Yeah.
So ask your
Yes.
employer to help you. But what
Okay.
we have to understand that it depends on the area. And Paula just said that sometimes the rent can affect 30% of your income in some areas. 30,
Okay. 30%.
30%. So it's very high. So then it's not going to be very easy, but okay. But first get the contract and then ask the employer, because the employer knows if he wants to come you to come in to work, he has to give you the possibility to come very comfortably. Otherwise you will not stay in the company.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just you hearing me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just about that freelancer question. If I think maybe it will be easier to work in Switzerland if you work to a company than to start working as a freelancer, right? Or I think any opinion about that you could give me? Because here in Portugal, I have my name registered as a small business, so I can work like that.
Yes, but do you speak a Swiss language?
No, I just speak Spanish and English, and I'm also trying to learn French.
Because I think in your sector, so you are in contact with private client, not only international companies. I think if you want to be freelance, you should speak a national language, because you have to speak with the people, so the Swiss people, and I don't think that Swiss people, or the majority of the Swiss people, want to work and speak in English if they have to build. I don't know if you build houses or what, but usually you speak in your language when you are working in this business, in
Yeah,
this
I'm seeing
sector.
the point. Most of the times I speak directly with the architects or the engineers because they pass me the
Yeah, but
information they need
still,
me to draw.
I
Yeah.
think it's something more where
Exactly.
you
Okay.
have
This
to
is
speak
not
the
a very
language.
international area here, because I know I have friends working in the drawing and building area where you have to draw a machine or a building. They don't speak English. Yeah, okay. You
I'm,
have
I'm
sometimes one or two clients or that are English and or personal in the companies that can understand and speak English, of course, but most of the time there are small businesses that do that,
I see.
not big companies, and they work inside for the internal market, and not for the domestic market, and not for international companies. So yeah, one of the official languages is needed, in my opinion, at least.
I'm
I
sorry
see.
to interrupt, but there are lots of other candidates waiting for the opportunity.
Sure.
You can use the information we put on the chat about how to contact us, the link tree, also an email address, and we can try to help you further after the webinar is ending. Now we should give opportunity to other participants to put their own questions, okay?
Sure. Thank you for your time.
I'm
And
sorry, David,
remember,
and thank you
No,
please,
no
for
worries, no worries. It's fine.
understanding.
It's fine.
questions,
I understand.
yeah, questions then that can be more general, not
Yes.
about that specificity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if Patricia already talked.
Yes, yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to congratulate you for this initiative. I'm Patricia, and I'm a clinical psychologist. I do speak French and German. I learned those languages at Luxembourg. That's where I'm from. Even if right now I'm living in Portugal, where I do my where I do my formation. And I would like to know if it is necessary to have a language certificate to be employed in Switzerland.
No, because you write down in your CV, for example, C1, C2, and then the companies know your level, and then if they are interested in your profile, they will test your skills during the interview.
Okay.
So
Okay, interesting. Can I put another question, if it's possible? Okay, my second question has to do with the fact that La Fédération Suisse des Psychologues has told me that I need to ask a permission from a content to carry out my professional activity. Where do I have to go to apply for this permission?
So normally to have the authorization to work, I don't know if psychologists, I think doctors are recognized, but they need authorization. So you need to go on this website we just mentioned. I don't know which slide was that, the SB, and they will tell you that. So where is it?
Maybe
It's
Paola
here.
can share the presentation again and share that
So it's
specific
the
slide while you are explaining, Sergio.
SBFY. Or I'll put it here, and they will here on the chat.
Also?
SBF1 admin.ch.
Can you see?
You go here. I just put it on the
chat.
On the chat.
Yes, we can see it.
I already have asked for the recognition of my diploma to the Commission fédérale des professions de la psychologie.
Right.
So they told me that after having the recognition of my diploma, that I need to ask permission from a content to carry out my profession. Okay.
This is a formal stuff. First, you have to be sure that your diploma is recognized, and then it's just a formality. You go to the area. I would like to work as a psychologist, and they will, you will have to follow to fill in some forms and give the original paper, etc., etc. And it's just going to be a formal step, unless the area is under the numerous clauses and said, okay, we cannot give you the permission, not because you're not qualified, but because we have enough people working as you. So it depends on the area, actually. But the first step is to do CC, and someone has put actually in the chat, you have Gesundheitswesen, ausländische Diplome Anerkennung lassen. This is very good. So, and the website I just wrote, the address is the same. So if you know that, you're on the good way, actually.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, good morning. Thank you
Good
for your
morning.
presentation. It was very informative. So my questions are, I'm a Portuguese. I finished the master degree in architecture and I speak English. And I'm wondering what the next steps I could take in more specifically in this field to work in Switzerland. And for example, here to be an architect, you need to be a part of association of Portuguese architects. So my question is this the same in Switzerland that they need to do? Like, should I start with an internship or to be a part of association of Swiss architects, or how does it work? And I have next question is, do I need some experience in Portugal to work after in Switzerland, or can I start applying now for the jobs? And then comes more general question. Do Switzerland valorize more the education or the experience at work? And thank you.
Do you speak any Swiss language?
No, but I can start learn German, for example.
Okay, so I think I will start with learning German before you come to Switzerland, because as we said, in this sector, the national language is still important. So first step, I think, is at least B1, B2 in German. In this time, you can have some experience in Portugal. I think it's good when you have experience. It will improve your chances to find a job in Switzerland. And then I think in Switzerland, we gave importance to the education, but also to your experience. But of course, I think in your sector, you need to have a qualification to be an architect, so it's important. And I think if you can have some experience during learning German, then it will improve your chances to find something in Switzerland.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have Teresa Diniz next.
Good morning, and thank you very much for your nice presentation. I have a question regarding the pension system. Okay, as well as I understood, the first pillar is mandatory always. So, but I would like to ask if I would be interested in a second pillar. How is the process in general? So it's something that I need to myself to talk with the social security from Switzerland, or is something that I need to work with the employer if, for example, I get a job in Switzerland?
So actually, the first and the second pillar are compulsory, madam. So you don't have the choice. They are deducted from your salary. So you don't have to think about it. Unless your salary is very low. If your salary is very low, the second pillar will not apply. But otherwise, it's compulsory. What is not compulsory is the third, because the third pillar is the private savings. People do private savings or not, but at the end of a working life, if you don't have savings in Switzerland, it's going to be tough. It's not impossible, of course, because you can go to the social, social department and ask for welfare and benefits, of course. But so I answer the questions. The second pillar is compulsory.
Okay, I'm really sorry because I only fixed in my memory the first pillar. I'm very sorry, but thank you very much.
That's why I hear. Okay, so the last one, Tanya, you can turn on your mic.
I had a problem with my internet. I lost some part of your presentation. I would like to know if it will be accessible, the record.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we will send the presentation and the recording to all participants. It's good that you ask so that everybody that is still with us can hear. Presentation will be sent to the email we mailed you registered in the webinar, and we will also make available the recording of this webinar on our YouTube channel, maybe in a month's time or less if we are able to, okay? Also, all the links that were made available through the chat will be sent to you by email to the email that you registered with.
Thank you so much. So
You're welcome.
Your contacts also, if we need to send a email to.
Yes, you will see that we have put already in the chat. Please check, for example, the link tree, which gives us all the channels that you can use to reach us. Social media, email, EURES advisors, contacts, everything. It's on our link tree. Okay.
It seems it's not available for me as I just come in a few minutes ago.
I see. I will put it again, but you will receive it by email also. Also for those that came later and are not able to see all the conversation on the chats, you will have access to everything once we send you an email in 1 or 2 weeks maximum. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So it's late, so maybe we can.
Paola wants to talk.
No, it's just because I have to go, so I
Yes, it's quite late. I thank you so much for being able to stay for so long. We had lots of candidates. That's why it took longer, and it was very nice from your side to have this availability. We hope to hear from you soon. We will send you all the questions that we received regarding the country to Sergio and Paola to see that you can help us. So thank you so much for everything, and we'll keep in touch. And thank you for all of you that participated and showed an interest in EURES Portugal and our activities. See you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
you. And thank you for
Bye,
our
Paola,
German
and bye,
colleagues.
Sergio.
Bye.